Hi, I'm Paula Brockner, Executive Director and Trainer with the Pampered Chef. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make a mile-high apple pie. Yes, it will look like it's almost mile-high when I'm done. I just want to keep this short and give you a little bit of an idea of how I would possibly do a demo. First of all, I would make sure that I would have this pie completely done and take it to my show, kind of keep it hidden. And then when the magic minute comes, I'll bring it out and show everyone the done pie. So first of all, what I'm using is my pastry mat, which will be coming in handy in a few weeks for my peanut brittle. But right now, I just have a pie crust. It comes in rolls. If you want to make your own, that's absolutely fine. But I just want to be quick with this. So I've got a pie crust out on here. My right and left-handed dough and pizza roller. I bring it out a little bit more than the 12 inches that were needed. So sometimes I put a little flour down below. Now, it doesn't need to be the most expensive pie crust because Surefine or any other brand name works. So what I'm going to do is take my crust, fold it in half, and quarter it. Bring my pie plate over, and then go backwards with this. I'm going to put it in here in the quarter, unwrap it, and unfold. Now, you just push it down in the middle, and that's your bottom crust. Look at how easy that is. If you want to go with the small end and move this around, you can, but really not necessary. Now, before the show starts, because I don't need to show everyone everything, I just take the apple wedger and I wedge up all of our apples. Now, here's the secret. Macintosh apples will make an applesauce pie. They're not the best for baking. So what I use is between Braeburn, Gala, and Honeycrisp. It always makes a more flavorful pie when you use a couple of different kinds of apples. And the trick is using the apple wedger, not the apple peeler core slicer. The apple peeler core slicer breaks it down so with the amount of time we need to bake. So it's just really quick before the show. I do all of the apples and maybe I'll wedge one in front of them. So if I'm going to do my pear pies, I use the same. Now, I've got my stainless bowl here, and pre-show I've got all of my apples ready in here, and they've already shrunk down. 6 pounds of apples within the 2 to 3 different brands of apples. 6 pounds. Check the bag weight. A lot of bags are 3 pounds, and some bags come 2 pounds. 6 pounds of apples. I heard the other day that somebody made an apple pie with 4 apples, and I thought they've not seen the Mile High pie. And I do want to give credit to my very good friend, Missy Edwards. She showed me last year how to do this pie, and I kind of take it on the road now besides doing pie shows at my home. So I've got the apples. Now, what I also measured ahead was 2 cups of sugar, and I use 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Now, it's really important to know that when we make pies, we only use cinnamon. I love the flavor of the cinnamon plus with the nutmeg and the cloves. But you know, cloves bring on a total different taste to a pie. Some people are even allergic to cloves. Cloves can be way too strong when they're cooked. So that's why we just use pure cinnamon, no imitation cinnamon. If you're going to spend time and energy, you want to have some good cinnamon. So 2 cups of sugar, a tablespoon maybe and a half of our good cinnamon, and then I was always raised with maybe a little flour, maybe a little some other thickening, but the absolute best is tapioca. So I have 1/2 cup of tapioca. Tapioca is not going to make it so cloudy or clumpy as flour or maybe cornstarch or something like that would be. So I've got all of that mixed ahead, and I don't feel that people need to see me measuring and all of that. I would rather pass the measuring tools around. So we've got all our pie. Now when I want to stir this is going to be mounting. I sometimes even just go like this and I shake, and the cinnamon and the sugar and the tapioca all kind of gets where it needs to be. So we're pretty much ready here to fill our pie plate. Now remember, 6 pounds of apples. So I'm just going to start mounding the apples. If you feel like the apple wedger is a little bit too thick of a slice, it's okay if you want to cut that a little thinner, but you know, and it's okay to have a little crunch to your pie. You don't have to feel like I said, like you're making an applesauce pie. So look at how this is all mounded up. So there we go, we're ready. Now, for some reason they say, and I wasn't named after Paula Dean for nothing, it says use a tablespoon or 2 or 3 or a half a cup of butter. That's going to give it a little more flavor, so we've got some butter in there. Now I'm going to set this aside. Watch how easy it is to do this pie crust. I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down on my mat. I don't need so much flour. In the meantime, I have my oven set at 450. And it's very important to have the rack set very low in the oven. You know, heat rises, so the heating element is on the bottom. And the trick to using a deep dish pie plate is that we want the bottom to get hot. If you have your racks way too high, then the top of the crust starts burning. Yes, we do have the pie shield, but I do not put that on here because this is so high, I wouldn't even be able to get it on when I'm done. So here's my pie crust, very easy. If you want to put a little flour, you don't need to flour it so much. I'm just going to move this around, and then this is going to go up on the top. So my oven's set at 450. The pie is going to bake on the low rack for 45 minutes, and then I'm going to turn my temperature down 50 degrees. So we'll go from 450 to 400, and then at 400 we're going to bake it for another 35-40 minutes, and it will be beautiful. So, and remember, we don't have to have soggy apples. It's okay if there's going to be a little bit of crunch. So I'm going to do the same thing with this crust. I'm going to fold it up. I'm going to fold it over, and this time I am going to lay it back out. So I'm going to lay it back out here and unfold it. So there we go. How many of you have ever had pie boiling over in your oven? This might do the same thing, but I'm going to show you a trick on how you can maybe prevent that. So first of all, what you also want to do is maybe on the lowest rack, put an old sheet or aluminum foil, sheet pan or aluminum foil, and then, you know, your next rack is going to be a little bit higher than that. So you can use water, you can use milk, whatever you'd like, just to kind of wet the crust around. All we're really doing is going to help this seal. And this is kind of fun to roll this up. I'm not going to be fancy with edges. I don't feel you need to be so fancy. But now we've got the skirt. It's like the top and the bottom of the skirt. I'm just going to pinch this all the way around. So we're just quickly going to pinch this. Once it's all pinched all the way around, I'm just going to go quickly. Once this is pinched all the way around, the next thing I'm going to do is roll this up. So now any juices that would come are going to be trapped. So we're rolling this up. You're going to roll it all the way around. At this point, if you feel you want to go thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger, maybe you want to go with a fork all the way around and just press a fork down. But I just want to show you how easy it is to make this mile-high apple pie. And roll this all up. So there. I mean, this is even fun. This even looks nice. Now, the next step I want to do is I want to bathe the top crust in milk. You can see how this is all sucked down to the apples. Well, I'm just going to take my prep bowl here, and I've got some milk in here. I'm just going to wash this all around my crust nicely, and then the half a cup of sugar, I'm going to put the half a cup of sugar on here, or less, whatever you'd like to do. I do not put any more cinnamon on top. So however much I want to do, you know, the juices might come, there's some milk, and then that'll all kind of crystallize, and we'll have this yummy apple in there. Now, you want to also make some holes to the top. So this is a really pretty one. Kind of go from handle to handle and not quite starting in the middle. I'm just going down, slicing down a couple of inches, go here. So on all four sides, I'm just going down a little bit, or up, whichever. And then I'm going to do a little slit in between that. Little slits, little slits. And now I'm just going to poke it all around here. Why am I doing this? Because Missy told me to. So there we go. There's your mile-high pie. It's ready to go into the oven for 40-45 minutes at 450 degrees. and then I'm going to turn the oven temperature down to 400 and then bake it until it's finished, which is probably another 40 minutes. So this is not something that I will do at the show. I would probably take this home, but what I do is I walk into the kitchen, and then the one that I brought to the show that I have in hiding, I bring out. And then everyone can see, and then we can taste the pie. Of course, I love to use the pie shield, talk about that. But what you'll notice is as your pie cools, the apples will even shrink. So if you put 6 or 7 apples in here, you're not going to have any apples. So even these apples will bake and they will shrink and they'll go all the way down. So anyway, you maybe want to take some extra pie crust and take our little cutters, and you can cut out little apples with pie crust, and you could put apples on there if you want to go and do something like that. So that's it. It's very easy. It's very simple. 6 pounds of apples total. Mixed that in with 2 cups of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of tapioca. Seal it with a little milk or water. Roll it up. Make sure there's butter in there. Don't forget the butter. And then bathe it, rub it up with milk, and put 1/2 cup of sugar, and bon appetit. You will have your beautiful apple pie, mile high pie. Thanks for spending time with me today in my kitchen. Until we eat again.